I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel, Science and IT in One. Today we'll be starting with chapter 11. One of my husband's male relatives had died and he had to attend the funeral. When he had gone, I took the opportunity of going to see Kenny. I had not done so before because I was sure Nathan would not like his wife or his daughter going to a white man, a foreigner. Um, my father had been different, but Nathan, I felt, would not approve. And if he did not, the one chance Ira had would be lost, and this made it the more important that he should not know. So this is the traditional way the people were reluctant to get Western help. In the instance where my father has been different, in Rukmani's case, she was from a higher social class, and the status of farmers or the mentality of farmers could be different. I explained this to Ira cautiously, and she nodded listlessly and said yes. It was a necessary precaution, and she did not look at me, and she showed no enthusiasm. I was getting more and more worried about her. She moped about, dull of hair and eye, as if the sweetest sweetness of life had departed, as indeed it has for a woman who is abandoned by her husband. Kenny was working in the small building they had put up near the tannery. I could see him whenever the door opened to let someone out. There was a long line of men waiting. I squatted some distance away. The day wore on. The sun had set. The glow of twilight was touched with darkness before he came out. He looked grim and tired, his eyes were burning, and there was an air of such impersonal cruelty about him that despite myself I shivered. No more tonight, he said briefly to the assembled men, and stepping down from the veranda, he strode away. I waited till the crowd dispersed, then I followed. He was walking quickly with long strides. I had run to catch up. He stopped at last when he heard my footsteps and waited for me to come up, frowning so that I began to feel afraid. I said, "No more tonight. Did you not hear me? Do you think I am made of iron?" "I waited all day," I gasped. "I must see you. My husband will be back soon, and then I cannot come." His frown deepened. He said coldly, "You people will never learn. It is pitiful to see your foolishness." "It is for my daughter I come," I said. "She cannot bear she is as I was." "You will be a mother even before she is," he replied with a glimmer of a smile, "for it seems you had no difficulty." "It is so," I said. "I would it were otherwise. I would it were otherwise, and she in my condition, for she is much afflicted since her husband has no use of her." So, uh, we can see Kennington's mood swings in this place, and also we can see how how Rukmani has wished if she was in her condition and her condition was her Rukmani's. "Why did she not come then?" he said, "since it is her need. It would have been more sensible." There was an edge to his voice, and his mouth twisted as if in exasperation. Exasperation means annoyance. "Forgive me," I whispered, quaking. I was not sure. To my surprise, he put both hands on my shoulders, forcing me to look at him, and I saw he was laughing. "I'm sorry I frightened you," he said. "You should not act like a timid calf at your age." Uh, and in the place where we earlier said that it is pitiful to see your foolishness, we can say that he explains he is only doing the job to help the villagers. Okay, let's go on forward with what we were reading. Uh, you "I'm sorry I frightened you," he said. "You should not act like a timid calf at your age. As for your daughter, I will do what I can. But remember, no promises." He turned and was gone. I sat down to think and to collect my wits. When at last I rose to go, a full moon when at last I rose to go, a full moon was shining golden and enormous, very low in the sky. Bats were swimming silently by. I kept in the narrow footpath, clear and white in the moonlight, walking swiftly and absorbed in my thoughts. I heard no footsteps, only a voice calling my name from the shadows. I stopped, my heart hitting out wildly at my breast, and then I saw it was Kunti, standing where the path forked with the moonlight streaming full down on her. You startled me, I said. I did not expect. That I can see, she said coolly, coming towards me. You keep late hours, Rukmani. No later than yours, I replied, not liking her tone. I have reasons. Of course, she said softly, derision in her voice. So, derision is disgust or ridicule. We all have reasons. Mine are not the same as yours, I said with contempt, surveying her. She came very close so that I smelled the rose petals in her hair, saw the paint on her mouth, meaning that we live differently. It is charitable to say no more, let me pass. She stood squarely in my path. I would not have thought it, he said softly, slowly. Had I not seen for myself? Thought what? I said, seen what? That you have so much passion in your body, she said insolently, that you seek assuagement thus. So we can see assuagement means fulfilling desire, and insolent means angrily. Your husband would give much to know where you had been tonight. I saw her mouth forming these words, her eyes half hooded and mocking. Then I saw her face suddenly close to mine and did not realize I had thrown myself at her until I felt her body in my grip. An overwhelming rage possessed me. I kept shaking her furiously. I could not stop. Her slender body was no match for mine. I saw her head fall back. The thin sari she wore slipped from her shoulders. Then I saw that it was not tied to the waist, but below the navel like a strumpets. Strumpets means prostitutes. And that she was naked below, saddled with space smeared her swelling hips. Under her breasts were dark painted shadows which gave sensuous depth. The nipples were tipped with red. So there's a sensual description here. And Kunti gives into prostitution because of the temperament, and she accuses Rukmani of prostitution as well. She tries to put Rukmani in her same place as well. Now, the place where Kunti criticizes Rukmani is full of irony and sarcasm. Released her. She stood there before me, panting, with her hair shaken loose and coiling about her shoulders. Guard your tongue, I said, or it will be the worse for you. Said nothing for a moment while she rearranged her garments, recovering herself a little. It's once again that maddening, insulting, harsh smile curved her lips. Maybe Kunti, he could be jealous as well because she is living well with her husband. And for in the case of Kunti, she is not. And for you, she said, with knife in her voice, and for your precious husband. With that, she was gone. I went along to summon my daughter's husband. Take her back. Kunti actually intends to harm Rukmini and her husband. So I went along to summon my daughter's husband. Take her back. There's nothing wrong with her now. She will bear you many sons yet. I would, he replied, with a hint of sorrow in his eyes, for she was a good wife to me and a comely one. But I have waited long, and now I have taken another woman. I went away. Ira was waiting, eagerness shining from her. You must not blame him, I said. He has taken another woman. She said not a word. I repeated what I had said for she seemed to not to understand. But she only looked at me with stony eyes. Thereafter, her ways became even strange. She spent long hours out in the country by herself, spoke little, withdrew completely into herself, and went about her tasks with a chill hopelessness that daunted me. No one could see in her now the warm, lovely creature she had been, except sometimes when Selvan came to her, perching on her lap and coaxing a smile from her, for she always had a special love for him. As my pregnancy advanced, she turned completely away from me. Sometimes I saw her looking at me with brooding, resentful eyes, and despite myself, I could not help wondering if hatred lay beneath her glance. Then at last my child was born, a nicely formed boy, smaller than the others had been, but of course I was older now. She, we nicknamed him Kuti, which means tiny. And being a happy, troublesome baby, everyone took pleasure in his arrival. None more so than Ira, the transformation in her was astonishing and as it was inexplicable. I had feared she might dislike the child, but now it was as if he were on her own. She lost her dairy air, her face became animated, the bloom of youth came back to her. Our daughter is herself again, said Nathan to me. I've heard her caroling like a bird. She is happy with the child, I replied, but I do not know what is to become of her in the future. All is worrying, he chided. It is not a mercy that she is young again. Should one not be grateful? He was a man and did not understand. How could I stop worrying? We had no money to leave her. Who would look after her when we were gone and the boys were married with families of their own? The dowry, perhaps it was. With the dowry, it was perhaps possible she might marry again. Without it, no man would look at her, no longer a virgin and reputedly barren. No one had been more upset about the outcome of Ira's marriage than old Granny. It was she who had arranged the marriage, and though failing in health, she thought it was her duty to come to me. She had aged considerably since the last time I had seen her. So we can see in the previous stanza how previous passage how Rukmani is more practical and intelligent than Nathan. It shows the worries of Rukmani towards her child. It was she who had entropy. She had aged considerably since the last time I had seen her. She walked slowly, pausing before each step to gather strength for the next. Her hands kept up a slight shuddering movement like a nervous flutter of a bee on a flower. No fault of yours or the girl's or her husband's, I told her. It is fate, nevertheless, I do not like to think of the future. So the villagers gained some consolation by blaming fate. We can see that here. Why fear the old lady? Why fear? The old lady said. Am I not alone and do I not manage? I thought of her sitting in the street all day long with the gunny sack in front of her piled with a few annas worth of nuts and vegetables, and I thought of Ira doing the same thing, and I was silent. It is not unbearable, she said, watching me with her shriveled eyes. So, shriveled means sort of cunning, deceptive eyes. Uh, One gets used to it. It is true, one gets used to anything. I had got used to the noise and the smell of the tannery. They no longer affected me. I had seen the slow, calm beauty of our village built in the blast from the town, and I grieved no more. So now I accepted the future, and I rushed lot in it, and thrust it from me. Only sometimes when I was weak or in my sleep, while my will lay dormant, I found myself rebellious, protesting, rejecting, and no longer calm. Only in her sleep that Rukmani was nervous. Maybe she saw nightmares. So the place where we said my will lay dormant, we can say it is inactive. Kuti's birth gave Ira a purpose of life. Thus, it was a blessing in disguise. We could say so for Ira, because she was young again and she was cheerful. So, as a conclusion, we can say it shows the rise and fall of Rukmani, who fear a young girl faced, who feared the life of family, worked hard, and her family relies on her. There are moments of happiness and sadness, birth of sons, marriage of daughter, and the daughter being brought back. Rukmani is seeking the help of Kenny to find a remedy for Ira's inability to conceive, and the Cold War between Rukmani and Kunti is also shown and could be said as a conclusion. So, thus, we can end chapter 11, and in the next video, we'll meet with chapter 12. So, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel, like this video, and click the bell icon for more notifications.